next one we're going to do is in the transverse plane. We're going to look at rotation. So we want to start right at 90 degrees of horizontal abduction, the elbow straight at 90, and we're going to see if Scott can take the back of his hand towards the wall. And what we're looking for here is primarily at the pec minor, see if he has enough ability to go into external rotation. If he doesn't, think of Scott doing a shoulder press or a pull down where he has to have that external rotation. If that pec minor is not long enough, he's going to have to either elevate his shoulders or go into protraction where he tips forward. And you see a lot of people trying to do pull downs or pressing movements with that kind of posture. And again, that leads to shoulder impingement and shoulder instability. So we're just looking for that motion. Next one we want to look for is to see if Scott can take his arms into internal rotation. And what we want to look at is the arm should be parallel with the trunk, which shows about 80 degrees of motion. And you can see Scott has some limitation. So the normal movement would be into that position right there. And you can see how Scott's shoulder is elevated and his shoulders now move forward. So again, that's what would happen with someone if they don't have proper range of motion. Okay? So again, you're going to do a flexion test, looking at latissimus dorsi length. You're going to do a horizontal abduction test, looking at pectoralis major length. You're going to do a rotation test, looking at pectoralis minor length. And you're going to come forward, looking at the posterior capsule of the shoulder and the posterior rotator cuff length to see if there's any impairments. And again, the key on these tests, relax for a moment, Scott, is the feet are against the wall, the glutes are against the wall, the back of the head is against the wall, and the lumbar spine, there'll be a little bit of an arch, but you're going to make sure the abdominals are drawn in, and that should stay there. If you see compensation during any test, that shows weakness in the core. So that's the series from the transitional overhead squat test to these transitional movement assessments of the upper body.